After we had come from the sea, we journeyed on horseback, always southward, for about 12 days. For 7 days we encountered no dwelling, nothing but sandy plains. We proceeded as though at sea, guided by the sun during the day, and at night by the stars. At the end of the 7th day, we arrived at an oasis, where dwelt very poor people who supported themselves on water and a little sandy ground. They sow little, living upon the numerous date palms. At this oasis, we had come into Tueto, or a group of oases. In this place there are 18 quarters enclosed within one wall and ruled by an oligarchy. Each ruler of a quarter protects his followers, whether they be in the right or no. The quarters closely adjoin each other and are jealous of their privileges. Everyone arriving here places himself under the protection of one of these rulers, who will protect him to the death. Thus, merchants enjoy very great security, much greater, in my opinion, than in other North African kingdoms such as Tunis. Though I am a Christian, no one ever addressed an insulting word to me. They said they had never seen a Christian before. It is true that on my first arrival they were scornful of me, because they all wished to see me, saying with one another, "This Christian has countenance like ours," for they believed that Christians had disguised faces. Their curiosity was soon satisfied, and now I can go alone anywhere, with no one to say an evil word to me. There are many Jews who lead a good life here, for they are under the protection of several rulers, each of whom defends his own clients. Thus they enjoy very secure social standing. Trade is in their hands, and many of them are to be trusted with the greatest confidence. This locality is a mart of the country of African Muslims, to which merchants come to sell their goods. Gold is carried hither, and brought by those who come up from the coast. There are many rich men here. The generality, however, are very poor, for they do not sow, nor do they harvest anything, save the dates upon which they subsist. They eat no meat but that of castrated camels, which are scarce and very dear. It is true that the Arabs, with whom I have come from the coast, brought with them corn and barley, which they sell throughout the year. It never rains here. If it did, the houses being built of salt in the place of reeds would be destroyed. It is scarcely ever cold here. In the summer the heat is extreme, wherefore they are almost all blacks. The children of both sexes go naked up to the age of 15. These people observe the religion and law of Muhammad. In the vicinity there are 150 to 200 oases. In the lands of the blacks, as well as here, dwell the Tuareg, who live like Arabs in tents. They are without number and hold sway over the land from the borders of Egypt to the shores of the ocean, present-day Liberia, and over all the neighboring towns of the blacks. They are fair, strong in body, very handsome in appearance. They ride without stirrups, with simple spurs. They are governed by kings, whose heirs are the sons of their sisters, for such is their law. They keep their mouths and noses covered. I have seen many of them here, and have asked them through an interpreter why they cover their mouths and noses thus. They replied, "We have inherited this custom from our ancestors. Their faith is that of the blacks. Their sustenance is milk and flesh, no corn or barley, but much rice. Their sheep, cattle, and camels are without number. One breed of camel, white as snow, can cover in one distance which would take a horseman 4 days to travel. Great warriors, these people are continually at war amongst themselves." The states which are under their rule border upon the land of the blacks. I shall speak of those known to men here, and which have inhibited of the faith of Muhammad. In all, the great majority are blacks, but there are small numbers of white. These adhere to the law of Muhammad. To the south of these are innumerable great cities and territories, the inhabitants of which are all blacks and idolaters, continually at war with each other in defense of their law and faith in their idols. Some worship the sun, others the moon, the 7 planets, fire or water, others a mirror which reflects their faces, which they take to be the images of gods, others groves of trees, the seats of a spirit to whom they make sacrifice, others again statues of wood and stone with which they say they commune by incantations. They relax here extraordinary things of these people. The Lord in whose protection I am, here, who is the greatest in this land, having a fortune of more than 100,000 doubles, which is a coin, a man worthy of credence, relates that he lived for 30 years in that town, and, as he says, for 14 years in the land of the blacks. Every day he tells me wonderful things of these people. He says that these lands and peoples extend endlessly to the south. They all go naked, save for a small loincloth to cover their privates. There are an abundance of flesh, milk, and rice, but no corn or barley. The slaves which the blacks take in their internecine wars are sold at very low prices. These peoples who cover the land in multitudes are in carnal acts like the beasts. They breed greatly, for a woman bears up to 5 at birth. Nor can it be doubted that they are eaters of human flesh, for many have gone hence into their country. Neither are there ever epidemics. When the blacks catch sight of a white man from a distance, they take to flight as though from a monster, believing him to be a phantom. They are unlettered and without books. They have great magicians evoking an incensed diabolical spirits, with whom they say they perform marvels. The wares for which there is demand here are many, but the principal articles are copper and salt in slabs, bars, and cakes. The copper of Romania, which is the Byzantine Empire, is obtained through Alexandria, is always in great demand throughout the land of the blacks. I frequently inquired what they did with it, but no one could give me a definite answer. I believe it is that there are so many people that there is almost nothing but is of use of them. The Egyptian merchants come to trade in the land of the blacks with 500,000 herd of cattle and camels, a figure which is not fantastic in this region. The place where I am is good for trade, as the Egyptians and other merchants come hither from the land of the blacks, bringing gold, which they exchange for copper and other goods. Thus, everything sells well, until there is nothing left for sale. The people here will neither sell nor buy unless a profit of 100%. For this reason, I have lost on the goods I brought here 2,000 doubles. From what I can understand, these people neighbor on India. Indian merchants come hither and converse through interpreters. These Indians are Christians, adorers of the cross. It is said that in the land of the blacks there are 40 dialects, so that they are unable to understand each other. I often inquired where the gold was found and collected. My patron always replied, "I was 14 years in the land of the blacks, and I have never heard nor seen anyone who could reply with definite knowledge. That is my experience as how it is found and collected. What appears plain is that it comes from a distant land, and, as I believe, from a definite zone." He also said to me that he had been in places where silver was as valuable as gold.